5 forgotten trucks that will outlive every new pickup on the market right now. Let me paint you a picture. It's a Tuesday afternoon, a used car lot somewhere in Ohio. A row of dusty pickups sitting at the back, no balloons, no spotlights, price tags marked down twice because not a single person has stopped to look. And 20 feet away, a crowd of buyers, arguing, practically arm wrestling over a 2021 F-150 with 74,000 miles on it and a 44,000 sticker. I watched that exact scene play out 3 months ago, and I stood there thinking those people have no idea what they're walking past. My name is irrelevant. What matters is this. I have been turning wrenches professionally for 23 years. I have rebuilt engines, diagnosed electrical gremlins at midnight, pulled broken spark plugs out of aluminum heads that should have never been engineered that way, and sent customers home in trucks that ran another 150,000 miles after everyone else told them to junk it. I have seen what breaks. I have seen what doesn't. And the gap between those two categories is not what the dealership brochure tells you it is. Today, I am giving you 5 pickup trucks that the used market has completely written off. Trucks that are sitting unnoticed while buyers overpay by thousands for complexity they don't need. Wrapped in warranties that won't cover the exact failure that's going to happen at 95,000 miles. Every truck on this list was engineered before the industry convinced itself that turbocharged 4 cylinders, 10-speed automatics, direct injection carbon buildup, and cam phaser failures were acceptable trade-offs for fuel economy numbers. They weren't acceptable then. They're not acceptable now. I'm saving number 1 for last because in 23 years of professional mechanical work, that pickup represents the single most undervalued used vehicle I have ever seen in any market condition. Stay with me. 5 Mazda B-Series 1994-2009. Most people hear Mazda pickup and their brain goes blank. Some assume parts are impossible to find. Some assume it's some gray market import. Both of those assumptions are completely wrong, and those assumptions are exactly why you can steal one for thousands less than it's worth. The Mazda B-Series sold in the United States from 1994 through 2009 is, at the mechanical level, a Ford Ranger. Not similar to a Ranger, not inspired by a Ranger. The same truck, same ladder frame, same engine family, same transmission, same suspension geometry, same parts bin. Both were assembled at Ford's Twin Cities assembly plant in St. Paul, Minnesota. The only thing Mazda changed was the front fascia, the badge on the tailgate, and the name on the title. The result? You can walk onto a lot today and find a 2007 Mazda B3000 listed at $4,800, sitting 30 feet from a 2007 Ford Ranger 3.0 listed at $7,200. Same truck, same mileage, same reliability. $3,000 premium for a blue oval on the hood. Here is what actually lives under the hood that nobody talks about. The 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder available from 2001 onward uses a timing chain, not a belt. No 800 timing belt services every 90,000 miles. It runs port fuel injection, meaning no direct injection carbon deposits choking your intake valves at 80,000 miles the way they do on virtually every modern GDI engine. No turbocharger, no intercooler, no boost pressure seals to fail, no wastegate rattle. Just a naturally aspirated engine that breathes, fires, and turns. I have personally inspected B-Series trucks with 290,000 miles on the original short block, showing compression numbers that would embarrass a lot of newer engines at half that mileage. The 5-speed manual behind the 2.3 is essentially a non-event mechanically. It rarely fails. The 5-speed automatic requires fluid changes every 60,000 miles. Do that, and it lives. Skip it, and you'll feel it around 130,000. What to inspect? Crawl under the rear and check the frame rails directly behind the rear axle. Rust belt examples can develop serious rot in that section. Check the front lower control arm bushings for slop. Look at the radiator support for any prior front-end collision repair. If those 3 things are clean, you are looking at a truck that will run your small business for the next decade on an oil change budget. Current clean pricing, $4,000, $7,500. Equivalent Ranger, $6,500, $10,500. You are paying for badge ignorance. Take advantage of it. 4 Dodge Dakota 1997-2011. The Dakota filled a gap that the market told Chrysler didn't exist and then mourned for a decade after Chrysler killed it in 2011. It was the truck that sat between the compact Ranger and the full-size Ram. Bigger bed, more towing, real V8 option, without the fuel penalty and parking footprint of a half-ton. Nobody makes that truck anymore. Nobody. And the used market still hasn't figured out what it lost. The engine I want to talk about specifically is the 4.7-liter PowerTech V8, but I need you to pay attention to the production year, because this matters more than people realize. The 1999-2003 versions had documented valve seat issues and were sensitive to cooling system neglect. Those trucks run hot if the coolant isn't maintained precisely. Walk away from early production unless you have full service history. The 2004-2011 revised 4.7 is a fundamentally different animal. Chrysler updated the cylinder heads, redesigned the cooling passages, added variable valve timing in later variants, and fixed the valve seat failures. The result is 302 horsepower, 329 pound-feet of torque, 7,200 pound tow rating, and it runs on 87-octane regular fuel. In a truck that weighs 4,100 pounds, that power-to-weight ratio, combined with the mechanical simplicity, no turbochargers, no direct injection, conventional port fuel injection, a straightforward 5-speed automatic, makes the late-model Dakota 4.7 one of the most capable and most ignored trucks in the used market. I'll tell you what I know from my own lift. A contractor brought in his 2008 Dakota with the 4.7 last spring at 194,000 miles. He asked me to go through it before a long haul. Compression check across all 8 cylinders within 8 psi of spec. Transmission fluid was clean and dark red, not burnt. Rear differential was slightly low. We topped it off with synthetic, sent him on his way. Truck pulled a 6,500-pound equipment trailer to a job site 2 states away without drama. Meanwhile, that same mileage on a 2008 F-55 and Ford Triton, I pull broken spark plugs out of those engines on a monthly basis. Ford used a 2-piece spark plug design in the 5.4 that allows the tip to snap off inside the aluminum head when someone tries to remove it. Repair cost starts at $200 per cylinder when it goes well. When it doesn't go well, you're looking at a Healy coil repair, a new head, or an engine replacement. That's not a hypothetical. That's a Tuesday in my shop. Inspection checklist. Upper ball joints wear out around 120,000 to 130,000 miles, and the truck will let you know with a shimmy under hard braking. Replacement is about $400–500 at an independent shop. Check rear differential fluid. Most Dakota owners ignored it. Listen for top-end tick on cold start. Light valve train tick is normal. A heavy rhythmic tick means oil starvation history. Don't buy that truck. Current market pricing for a 2008-2011 Dakota with the 4.7 V8, $6,511,000. Comparable F-150 from the same era, $9,000, $14,000. You are paying $4,000 more to own an engine I repair every single week. 3 Chevrolet S10 1994-2004 with the 4.3L Vortec V6. Before I say anything else, I own one. That's the disclosure. A 1999 S10 extended cab, 4.3 Vortec, 5-speed manual, 2-wheel drive. I bought it 11 years ago for $2,800 with 156,000 miles on the clock. Today it has 244,000 miles. Total unplanned repairs in 11 years. A fuel pump at 198,000 miles, a starter motor at 221,000 miles, and a fresh set of plugs and wires last fall. That is the entire list. I use it for hauling shop parts, picking up appliances, and running to the dump. It starts every morning, every single morning, even in January. Now let me explain why mechanically, because the 4.3 Vortec deserves more credit than it gets. This engine is architecturally a small block Chevrolet V8 with 2 cylinders removed, the same bore spacing, the same deck height, the same heads-down engineering philosophy that made the Chevy small block one of the most proven combustion engines in automotive history. The 4.3 produces 190–195 horsepower in this generation, which sounds modest until you remember the S10 weighs approximately 3,400 pounds. That power-to-weight ratio gives you genuinely adequate performance, a 5,500-pound tow rating, and 1821 mpg on the highway with the manual transmission. The 4L60E automatic behind the V6 is a known quantity. Every independent transmission shop in America knows this unit inside and out. A rebuilt 4L60E installed runs approximately 1,800–2,200. A rebuilt Ford 10R80, the 10-speed automatic fitted to modern F-150s, runs 4,500–6,000. When you can even find a shop qualified to touch it. And the 10R80 is failing in trucks with under 100. That's in miles regularly. That's not speculation. That's current TSB and owner forum data from the last 24 months. What nobody talks about. The 4.3 Vortec in this era had plastic intake manifold gaskets. Around 150,000, 160,000 miles, those gaskets begin to leak coolant externally, or in worst cases, allow coolant to seep into the oil. The fix is a 400 repair with updated composite gaskets. It's a known, documented issue. When you're inspecting one, pull the oil cap and look for any white residue or mayonnaise-like buildup. Check the coolant reservoir for any oily sheen. If it's clean, budget the intake gasket service as preventive maintenance and move on. Body inspection. Cab corners rust. Rocker panels rust. Frame rails behind the cab can develop surface rust that looks alarming but isn't structurally compromised. Probe it with a screwdriver. If it punches through, walk away. If it's surface oxidation, treat it and drive it. Current market: $3,500, $7,500 for 2WD, $5,500, $9,500 for 4WD. A same-era Toyota Tacoma with the 3.4 V6 is selling for $13,000, $19,000 because it has a Toyota badge and the internet told everyone to buy Tacomas. Mechanically, the S10 will match that Tacoma step for step at 150,000 miles. The price difference is pure perception. 2 Ford Ranger 2.3L 1998-2011. This is the truck I have recommended to more first-time buyers than any other vehicle in my career, bar none. And I want to explain the specific reason I pick it at number 2 instead of higher. It's not that the Ranger is more reliable than the number 1 truck, it's that it's more available. You can find a clean one almost anywhere in the country right now, and the manual transmission versions are being actively ignored by a market that has forgotten how to drive a stick. The 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder shares its DNA with the Mazda B-Series entry above same fundamental architecture, same timing chain, same port fuel injection, no turbos, no direct injection complications. It produces 143 horsepower and 154 pound-feet of torque in a truck that weighs under 3,000 pounds in base trim. Highway fuel economy with the 5-speed manual, 26-28 mpg. That is better than most compact crossovers sold today. Not comparable better. Here's the detail most buyers completely miss. This engine was also used in the Ford Focus VT, the Mazda 3 2.3, and select Ford Fusion models. The parts ecosystem is enormous. The mechanic familiarity is widespread. If you break down in a small town with one auto parts store and one independent shop, they know this engine. That's a real-world advantage that modern turbocharged engines can't offer. There was a known timing chain tensioner issue on early 2.3 Duratecs that caused a cold start rattle. Ford addressed this under a technical service bulletin and extended coverage. By the time you're looking at a 2007-2011 Ranger, either the repair was done, the tensioner was updated at the factory level, or the engine has simply proven it doesn't have the issue. When you inspect one on a cold morning, start the engine and listen for 5 seconds before touching the throttle. Any pronounced rattle from the front of the engine? Ask for the service history showing the tensioner work. If it starts clean and quiet, you're in good shape. Frame inspection. Rear shackle hanger area is the rust vulnerability point. Also check around the spare tire mount underneath. Road spray accumulates there and accelerates corrosion. If those sections are solid, the powertrain will carry you well past 250,000 miles. Current pricing on a 2009-2011 Ranger XL with 2.3L manual, under 120 miles, $5,500, $9,500. The manual transmission versions are cheaper because buyers think they can't drive them. That's your discount. A clutch replacement on this truck when it eventually wears out at approximately 180,200. 0 miles if you don't ride it runs $650, $850 at any independent shop. Budget for it eventually and still come out way ahead. 1 Nissan Frontier V6 2nd generation 2005-2021. This is it. If you've been watching since the beginning, here is the payoff. The 2nd generation Nissan Frontier ran from 2005 to 2021 with barely a mechanical change, 16 years. While every other manufacturer was racing to stuff turbos, cylinder deactivation, direct injection, and 8 and 10-speed transmissions into their trucks, Nissan kept building the same thing. Not because they were lazy, because they had built something right the first time, and they knew it. The engine is the VQ40D, a naturally aspirated 4.0-liter V6 producing 261 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque. This is the same VQ engine family that powered the Nissan 350Z sports car, the Pathfinder, the Xterra, and the Infiniti X35 and QX4. It's an engine with a multi-platform proven track record spanning more than 2 decades. Timing chain, port fuel injection, aluminum block with iron cylinder liners. No turbo, no direct injection carbon deposits, no variable displacement. No cylinder deactivation solenoid failures. It revs cleanly, it pulls strong from low RPM, and it responds to basic maintenance like a truck engine should. I have personally inspected VQ40 engines above 300,000 miles on factory internals. I have one customer, a retired electrician in his late 60s, driving a 2007 Frontier at 352,000 miles on the original engine and original automatic transmission. He changes the oil every 5,000 miles with conventional oil. He changes the transmission fluid every 60,000. The truck runs every day. The 5-speed automatic paired with the VQ40 is not the most sophisticated unit in the world. But sophisticated is not what you want. You want proven. This transmission shifts smoothly, it handles the torque load comfortably, and when maintained with regular fluid changes, it lasts. I am not aware of any systematic transmission failure pattern on VQ40-equipped Frontiers with clean fluid history. That is a remarkable thing to be able to say about any transmission. Now, the one thing you absolutely must check. The 2005-2010 Frontier models had a factory design flaw where the transmission fluid cooler ran through the radiator. When the plastic radiator tank developed an internal crack, and it did, on many trucks coolant mixed into the transmission fluid through the cooler lines. The result: destroyed transmissions. Frontier owners call it the strawberry milkshake of death. The transmission fluid turns pink and foamy. Nissan issued updated radiators and the repair was widely performed. By 2011, the new radiator design was standard at the factory. When you inspect any 2005-2010 Frontier, pull the transmission dipstick and look at the fluid in bright light. It should be clean red. Any pink tint, any cloudiness, any milky texture, walk away immediately. No negotiation. The transmission is already compromised. If the fluid is clean red, check the radiator for a replacement receipt in the service history. If it was replaced with the updated unit, you are all clear. Rear leaf spring sag on trucks used for hard hauling replacement is approximately $550–700 per side at an independent shop. Factor that in if the truck sits noticeably low in the rear or if you hear clunking over rough roads. Pricing reality that should make you angry. A clean 2015 Frontier SV with the 4.0 V6 and 90,000 miles is selling for $16,000–$20,000. A same-year Toyota Tacoma V6 with comparable miles is selling for $27,000–$34,000. That is a $10,014 on a premium for a Toyota badge and better resale cult status from a mechanical standpoint. In my shop on my lift, I see these two trucks as equals in long-term reliability. The Tacoma has the marketing legacy. The Frontier has the price discount. One of those things actually matters when your truck needs to get you to work tomorrow. The honest summary. 5 trucks. 5 different reasons the market has ignored them. One consistent truth underneath all of them. The Mazda B-Series, a Ford Ranger in disguise selling for Mazda money. The Dodge Dakota 4.7, the best American V8 truck nobody is buying. The Chevy S10 4.3 Vortec proven cheap and so available it's embarrassing. The Ford Ranger 2.3L manual 28 mpg 250. Great mile potential, and everyone ignores the stick shift. And the Nissan Frontier VQ40, the truck a retired electrician drove to 352,000 miles, and it's still running. None of these trucks have a 12-inch touchscreen. None of them have massage seats or a 360-degree camera. What they have is mechanical simplicity from an era when engineers were judged on durability, not on how many features they could stack into a 60,000 package with a 3-year warranty that specifically excludes the failure you're going to have. The next time a salesman puts you in front of a turbocharged truck with a 10-speed automatic and tells you it's the most capable thing ever built, ask him what the repair cost is when that transmission fails at 88,000 miles. Then walk to the back of the lot. If this gave you something real, hit subscribe. I put out honest mechanical content every week. No sponsorships, no dealership money, just 23 years of knowing what breaks and what doesn't. The next video covers which full-size trucks have actually earned long-term trust in my shop. You'll want to see it. Drive smart, maintain what you own, and stop paying Tacoma tax.